Empty glass.
Woo! Hey gang, welcome back to another episode of Death Curse Society. We got a lot going on. Colonel, you all right again? Jesus.
God, it just fucking itches. There we go.
Oh, God. Guys, I'm Red Crank, your host. I got the Colonel, and I got Zigzag.
There are stories of men with itchy private areas. Film at 11.
Stay away from the lot lizards, folks.
This episode is brought to you by penicillin. We got a lot to talk about in this episode, but before we get started, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We got so much reboot news. There's a potential American Werewolf in London reboot. Texas Chainsaw Massacre might be coming back. Nightmare on Elm Street's in the works. Pumpkinhead. All of these reboots coming out. We've got a couple of trailers for you for V-Wars coming out on Netflix and Apparition later this year, along with a little bit of news on what would have happened if Swamp Thing saw a season 2. We've got some details for you on that. Blair Witch, the video game, dropped on PS4 Tuesday. It's available now. And we've got some ideas for some good horror Christmas gifts for those horror fans in your life. But before we get to all that, let's go camping.
You're going to Camp Blood, ain't you? You'll never come back again. It's got a death curse.
For Let's Go Camping this time around, we're going to be talking about The Walking Dead Season 10. The first half of the season just wrapped a couple weeks ago. We finally have gotten caught up on it most of the way. It's starting to build up steam, but it's always starting to build up steam, and then I don't know what's going on. Colonel, you want to jump in here and give us a little review on everything?
Here's a short and skinny of everything. Everybody has a fucking spy somewhere trying to figure out what's going on, and shit's about to hit the fan. That is the quickest, most accurate review I can do for the show. We'll fill in the holes in between, but you got spies, and you're building up towards a showdown, which they always fucking do. We'll see if it gets extended another 2 seasons before the showdown actually happens.
Ziggy, what are you thinking of Season 10 so far?
There have been zombie movies and there have been zombie television shows, but only once in a lifetime can we reach these levels of boredom. This reporter has been subjected to much pain and suffering the last couple seasons of The Walking Dead. However, I'm pleased to announce that this season has been much better, very much more entertaining, and we have now a villain that we can universally dislike, and we're all rooting for her downfall and destruction. Crank, back to you.
All right. I can't wait till we have another hurricane somewhere nearby and we can send Zag out in the field and get some good footage of him out there trying to stand in the rain and everything.
God, I hope he gets hit in the head with a fucking stop sign, though, when he's doing a toon.
This reporter has heard reports of Sharknadoes.
Let's not go there. Let's talk about the Whisperers a little bit. You like them as a antagonist, it seems like.
I do like the Whisperers. I mean, they're much smarter and they think things out before they, get their plan going. They're looking at the big picture of destroying Alexandria. The leader, Alpha, is batshit crazy. She's nuts. You don't know when she's going to turn on her own people. She already has on a couple. Negan's a badass, and Negan was a bastard, but he's not crazy. This bitch is out of her fucking gourd, and it can only lead to more entertaining things. I've not rooted for the downfall of the governor or, any of the random assholes that have come along that have been dispatched. Even Negan, I never rooted. I like Negan. Negan's cool. You know what I mean? He's still, everybody's down with Negan. But like this one, I'm going to get a nice cold beer and a box of popcorn and kick my recliner back. When her head comes off, whenever it's going to be, her manner of dispatching, I'm going to be looking forward to it. I can't wait because I really dislike this one. And that's just good writing, okay, and great acting.
Well, when Negan was introduced, he was kind of the villain that you love to hate. Obviously, he was introduced in such a brutal way. Even the cliffhanger, that entire episode, before we found out what happened with the bat, that episode was just 30 minutes of him talking. It was beautiful.
He's just so fucking smooth. I mean, and cool. Cool is the word for Negan. I mean, that's what I mean. It's hard to dislike Negan. Yeah. Even if he did kill Glenn and Abraham, who gives a fuck?
Colonel, what about you? What do you like about Beta and Alpha?
From start off, I like the fucking look, man. Like, that is I love the look of the fucking Whisperers. They look better than most of the zombies anymore with their mask. It's fucking great. I like the way how Alpha pretty much has these people fucking brainwashed. She has like a whole fucking Jim Jones type deal to her, honestly, is what I kind of get. Instead of drinking Kool-Aid, they're just going to fight fucking people and wear dead fucking skin. Sorry, I don't sound too emotionally invested because I've lost a lot of my emotional investment seasons ago. And I kind of like, I don't know if you guys picked up on this, there seems to be like some kind of sexual tension between fucking Alpha and Beta, more on Beta's part. I just kind of feel like he kind of has like a hard-on for her, but not like obvious. It's not like Rosita and fucking Eugene, where Eugene's just trying to get up in there. Beta, he's a cool, calm, quiet guy. He kind of plays it smooth. I'll protect you, baby.
You know, that did kind of come out, Negan, when he was kind of talking loose about Alpha and like, hey, I'm just saying, getting a little bit excited, you know, with that whole bald head thing over there. And he didn't like that, you know, and it probably in turn led to him going, well, you're on your own, Negan. And he did not like seeing Negan coming back to the camp still alive and then professing his loyalty to the Whisperers. It does seem like Alpha does have a, like you said, a control, occult-like status over him based around fear of being killed. I mean, she doesn't hesitate. If someone's bucking the system, you become a guardian. The mask, you're right. I mean, I always think, man, what must that smell like? If that was the reality, you know what I mean?
Probably smells like one of my socks.
You beat me to it, you motherfucker, man, but that's exactly where I was going. I'll tell you what, the lower end people, the lower rankings are completely doing what they do out of fear to serve Alpha. I would expect some Benedict Arnolds to turn coat to, you know, join Alexandria or the Hilltop, whatever they can to get away from that nut. So,
well, that's kind of what they're leading to with this whole Gamma finding out that Lydia's still alive and not sure what to do with that information yet. We'll find out sometime next year. I'm intrigued by Gamma as a character because I think she's going to be one of those kind of a wrench in the system that screws everything up in the end. And I like that setup that they're building with her and Aaron that have had this friendship, however you want to consider it. But yeah, let's talk about Negan a little bit more. Do we believe that Negan is fully on board with the Whisperers, or is he just biding his time and waiting for a chance to attack from inside?
Negan joining the Whisperers? No way, man. I know the people at Alexandria are trying to kill him, but honestly, I think he's playing himself as a mole.
So you're the...
to tear it up from the inside and get in the good graces of the people in Alexandria. I mean, what else is he going to do? It's fucking Negan. He ain't going to bow down to her. He has too much of a personality. Trust me, this motherfucker don't whisper. They say silence is golden. Well, this motherfucker must be platinum because all he does is make fucking noise.
It's funny to see him interacting with the likes of Beta and even the other Whisperers because he's always the one to chatter, and they're like, shut the fuck up, man.
It's rocking the boat, but I mean, that's it, though. He also is Alpha, and you just don't want to believe that he would. It's just too easy for him just to, I support you, I profess whatever I am, it's yours. No way, man. No way. He's playing him hard. He's going to get close, and I don't know if he'll be the one, you know, that's right there, that's delivering the blade. I don't know if Beta's going to turn. I don't know if Gamma's going to get to her. I mean, we really don't know. They've done a good job with the misdirection on it. So, and lots of the strings are very frayed. So it's hard to see where we're going with this. And obviously we're nowhere near the comics anymore. So
most of Alpha's surrounding people have a reason to distrust her right now. I mean, you've got Beta not sure what to think about her because of Lydia, and he's known about Lydia for a while. You've got Gamma now that knows about Lydia, and she doesn't know what to think. You got Negan kind of working on the inside, probably. I mean, how many other Whisperers are catching on to these kind of things and figuring out what's going on? Another thing I liked about Negan was his kind of strange and symbiotic relationship with Lydia. I thought that was kind of neat when they were at Alexandria, you know, because he kept giving her advice like, hey, just don't buck the system. Do what you're supposed to be told. Don't try to go too far out of here, or you'll be in a cell with me, and you don't want to be that way. You know?
Exactly what he's doing right now.
Did we want to touch on like Daryl and Connie, because they've also got a different kind of relationship going on, and everyone wanted Daryl and Carol to be, but then this Connie girl comes in and just out of nowhere, and they're striking up like a friendship. Ziggy, what do you think about that one?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know, man. I used to laugh a little bit when they said, Daryl's gay. They're going to make him gay on the show. They said like 5 years ago or something like that, 4 or 5 years ago. That part of the show, to me, I get it, because you're trying to hold on to the last shreds of humanity that you knew. It's not there, man. It's just, I just don't see it working out. There's too much shit going wrong all the time, and I think Daryl's too afraid to get close to anybody just for that fact.
It definitely brings in like a Grey's Anatomy kind of vibe into The Walking Dead, which I don't personally like, but a lot of people talk about it. Colonel, you got anything to add on that?
You know what I think about the Daryl and Connie situation? Here.
Oh, yeah. yeah. No, I like the dog, too. And the fact that he doesn't even have a name is great. I mean, all right, let's get to the big spoiler of the season so far then. Dante was a spy for the Whisperers, the guy that just popped in the first episode of this year, and none of us thought to say, who the fuck is this guy? Until the next to the last episode when he kills Sadiq. And then we find out he was actually one of the Whisperers that was holding Sadiq while all of Sadiq's friends and all the other is getting slaughtered, the head on spikes. Now he's infiltrated Alexandria.
They have so many new fucking characters, I don't even care anymore. I can't even keep up. I really can't. It's like, I don't even know their fucking names yet. So, of course, I didn't see it. There's been so fucking many. But I was surprised. They did pull a fast one on me. I did. I was like, oh, shit.
I always knew Sadiq's PTSD would play a part in something big this season, but I didn't necessarily see that coming. And the reason I say, why didn't we pick up on this, is because even most of the characters that do get introduced, like Magna and Connie, but when they get introduced, we see their introduction. We know how they got brought into the camp. Dante was just kind of like, oh, hey, doctor's here. Come on in. And there was no explanation. So that should have been a red flag for us, in my opinion. But
it's exactly that. They did it by design, and I know that for a fact after watching that last episode. Episode 8 opens with Alpha briefing Dante on what she wants from him and why she's dispatching him there. Exactly why. They show him sabotaging the water system, taking out a couple other sick patients, and then he gets Sadiq. As it turns out, it's Sadiq's PTSD that actually, it's him piecing it back together. It's not really him freaking out, but zeroing in on what the fuck it was and who it was. And when Dante kind of did that little click with his mouth, zing, it hit him like a bolt of lightning. He realized it, Sadiq realized it, and tried to make a move. And Dante, didn't want to kill him, but he had to. And then here comes Rosita in with the fucking baby, and she realizes something's up right away. He's all sweaty like he's been jacking off with Colonel Sock. I'm telling you what, man, they have a fight. Sadiq is reanimated as a zombie. He's going for the fucking baby while Rosita's battling with Dante. It's heavy. She defeats him. She knocks him out. And then she gets up, takes out Sadiq. I mean, that's a heavy moment right there. That's your man. You had to stab him in the fucking brain. He's about to eat your baby. Both of your babies. So, mind fuck. So we got Dante in jail, and he's Mr. Hey, man, you guys are done. The Whisperers are going to take you out. There's nothing you can do about it. Just give in. It'll be easier for you. Mr. Gabriel comes to visit him. I don't like Gabriel. I've gone on record to say I think he's a weak character. I don't like his constitution. I think he's weak. And I was stunned that he's made it thus far into the series. I'm a huge fan of Gabriel's now for what he did on this episode and how he did it. This one thing turns me around.
Change your mind?
Gabriel is now embraced what the fuck has been going on the last decade. He's got it. He walked into that cell after Dante asked, do we deserve a second chance? Gabriel's telling him, hey, man, he goes, I don't know if it's not on me. He goes, but sometimes the second chance just presents itself before you. Pulls a blade out and prison shanks the fuck out of Dante till he's gone. And it's heavy, man. It is the oh fuck moment of the season so far. I trust him to handle himself and anybody that might be with him.
I see him as a pussy who committed a murder. That's all. He's still a pussy, man. I can't help it.
Still got to put that blade in, man. And then he did it prison shank. The shit.
Yeah.
I'm the baddest motherfucker on this whole prison here, bitch. Yeah, you heard? Check it out. Let's go. I'm the baddest dude.
One thing that we were told about this season that hasn't quite happened yet is we were going to see Michonne leave. Her role has been pretty limited throughout this season so far, but she's still with the story. How do you guys think she's going to take off or disappear? Or is she going to die? Colonel, what do you think?
Honestly, I think her getting on that boat, she's gone. I don't think she's coming back. I fully believe she sailed off to fucking Wakanda, and she's protecting the nation of Wakanda with the prince and fighting aliens.
Okay, we're crossing genres and stories again, but all right.
Yes,
fair enough.
I don't care. That's about as consistent as fucking Walking Dead's been for the past few seasons. Why not?
Fair enough. Ziggy, you got a theory?
Yeah, once she hooks up with Ben Kenobi at the Overlook, I think everything will be great, and she probably won't come back because Ewan McGregor's hot. You know, she'll probably just end up. They'll get room 237 or whatever over there. You know what I mean?
The fuck? Wait a minute. So you're cheating on your dude with Ewan McGregor? You said Ewan McGregor's hot.
Yeah. What about Dennis Quaid?
Yeah, like is he yesterday's fucking news?
No. He's busy doing insurance commercials right now. You know, it's not the most appealing stuff.
And he's engaged to like a 27-year-old?
Hey, man, that guy's still having kids at 70. You know what I mean? We should all hope we're still that virile at that age.
I don't know exactly how Michonne's going to disappear. The boat taking off might be one. I always thought she was going to get some kind of, not necessarily a message from Rick, but she was going to hear from Rick and know that he was alive, and then she's going to go off, taking off looking for him. That's kind of how I saw her leaving. But does she leave Judith behind? Who does she leave Judith with? Who does she trust enough to take care of Judith and Rick's son? Who's going to take care of the kids?
Daryl. I mean, honestly, he's kind of like their fucking main guy. Who else are they going to push the kids off on? Or Carol, after they squash this thing with the Whisperers and she comes back to Earth and she's not popping fucking pills so much. Maybe she bakes some fucking cookies. Who knows?
Hopefully she doesn't tell them to look at the flowers or anything.
Yeah.
All right, so what's next in 2020? You guys got any predictions for what's coming up soon? Ziggy?
Well, obviously, we're setting up for a huge showdown. We didn't tell you the gang was led into a mine shaft by Alpha and trapped on a ledge with a sea of zombies that are a couple inches away from reaching them. So that's where we're hanging until February. And, I think mostly all will escape the mine shaft somehow. Reunited Alexandria are at the hilltop. Probably see Maggie show up again, and we'll have a battle with the Whisperers. Will it get concluded in this season? I can't say. You know how they like to drag shit out around here. So as far as Michonne goes, it seems like they made a square deal with this Virgil character jumping on this boat. They're going to go to – they don't know where they're going. She has no idea what's there. What's waiting there. So, this could be bad for her, too. She's leaving the show, we know that, but I still think she'll be in a few of the 8 left that we have for this season.
God, it's going to be hard not to joke about this shit. This is going to sound ridiculous when I tell you my prediction. So I feel Michonne, they're going to make it to the military base on the island, where she's going to run into Rick, because you still have to tie in the Rick Grimes movies. I think she's going to return with Rick, some soldiers, and some heavy machinery. Pretty much everybody's going to be cornered at the hilltop. I don't think it's going to be Alexandria. The fucking fence is down, man. They got to fix the fence. So you're going to have like this big standoff, final battle going on at the hilltop. Michonne and Rick are going to show up with all these people. Maggie's going to come in with a small army of survivors, like some fucking medieval weapons. It's going to be like fucking Lord of the Rings, where they're battling off the fucking orcs. Next thing you know, Gandalf the White shows up. Well, this is going to be Maggie the White showing up with her army, and Rick the White showing up with his army, and they're going to fucking take out all the walkers and the Whisperers. And I had to throw a joke in there, but I literally think that's how the second half of the season is going to play out. One final battle.
So you think Rick is actually going to make an appearance at the end of this season?
Yes. Like I said, you have to have a way to get people to want to see these Rick Grimes movies that we're a year out of it, and I still haven't heard a fucking thing about it. Hey, get some interest back into the character, and let's see what he does. That way you can pretty much write off Michonne. You can fill in the holes for Judith and that other kid. She can take the kids and take the fuck off, and Rick's like this fucking soldier going around looking for fucking survivors and shit. Who knows?
See, I don't see Judith leaving the show. Judith seems to be one of those. She's a strong character in the show. I don't see her taking off anytime soon.
Well, then it goes back to who's going to care for her then. Granted, she's a little badass. You really don't have to care for this fucking child. Who's you going to hang with, I should say, Carol or fucking Daryl? Because those are going to be your two main characters after the end of the season.
Right.
Well, of course, Maggie, because, her show she left for flopped. So, of course, she'll be back as a full-time character.
I think she'll make an appearance or two in season 10, but that's about it. Bold predictions, gentlemen. One last thing to talk about with The Walking Dead is the new series that's spinning off starting in the spring, The World Beyond. What do you guys think about this?
They didn't give us much material to go on, but I'm sorry, when I'm watching it, I kept thinking of a video game called Resident Evil, Umbrella Operations or some shit like that, and I've seen these people in black and paramilitary gear. Fuck it, I don't care. I'm not going to watch it. I just really don't care about this universe anymore. I don't want to invest in another Walking Dead spinoff. We already got one that, after the first season, I never got back into. I stopped fucking watching it because it was so bad. Heard it's good now. Don't care.
Yeah, that's the thing. I gave up on Fear of the Walking Dead myself several years ago, and now I hear it's better than the flagship show, you know? I don't know what to think about this new series. It has kind of an intriguing story, and I like the fact that it's somewhere else, not the Atlanta area or the South. I'd like to see a little bit of that, but I'm going to try not to get too invested in it if it's bad. Ziggy, what do you think?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, hey, it's no secret. We decreed on this very show not too long ago, about 6 months ago, that we weren't going to really cover these side Walking Dead shows too much because just for that fact, you know, we felt like they were watering it down. Granted, there have been some good moments in Fear the Walking Dead, but most that I've seen, that one's tapering off too now. It's lost its peak. It's on the decline again. Do we really need another one? Go back to the flagship, put the efforts into making that the best fucking show possible, and keep that story rolling. I mean, you still have a nice fan base of people there. I mean, I don't know if you're going to win them all over to support a brand new show again. Not looking forward to it. Obviously, we'll check it out because we do it for you here. But, I mean, it's just not going to – this doesn't look like anything – that's going to blow me away and make me look forward to whatever day they're going to run those.
Well, it looks like it might kind of lead into Rick's series of movies. It might give us a little bit of information about whatever the corporation is that is trying to form some kind of government or protection mold around the apocalypse. And I think The World Beyond is going to kind of lead us to, oh, well, then here's Rick's first movie in October or whatever it is that it's supposed to come out.
Sci-fi, please bring back Z Nation. Thank you.
All right, well, that concludes Let's Go Camping. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with a whole lot more. Stick around.
I'll be right back. Don't get dressed.
Oh, fantastic. Holy.
Wondershare Filmora is a user-friendly, easy-to-use video editing software which contains hundreds of special effects for video that allows you to easily create a unique visual effect. Head to www.wondershare.net and get started editing now.
The Death Curse Society has just become an associate producer on the film.
Yes.
Bravo. Bravo. Death Curse Society, guys, is so awesome. I met the guys, all three of the guys, at Indianapolis last year for Horror Hound. And I met those dudes, and I gotta tell you, like, I hung out with them, we took pictures, I signed some stuff, they gave me a t-shirt. It was awesome. They are awesome guys. So super cool. I am so glad to have them on board this campaign and also on board the film. And now they are going to be IMDb credited as producers on this movie.
Hi, this is Heather Langenkamp, and you're watching Death Curse Society. Whatever you do, don't fall asleep.
Welcome back to Death Curse Society. We got a whole bunch to talk about here, so it's time for some stories around the campfire.
I don't want to scare anyone, but I'm going to give it to you straight about Jason.
Hey, come back!
So it's not necessarily Walking Dead news, but Robert Kirkman, the creator of The Walking Dead, he is attached to a reboot for American Werewolf in London. There's a classic right there that I'm not personally sure should be touched again. Ziggy, what do you got to say about that? In the field.
Thank you, Crank. Yes, American Werewolf in London was definitely one of my favorite movies from my childhood. One I saw at the theater many times, many weekends in a row, 2 or 3 as a matter of fact. There was a reboot planned for this back in the day, a few years ago, and they actually scrapped it because the script was so bad. This is a movie that was done practically with no CGI back in the 80s, so I mean, some of these things got to be left intact if this is going to work. American Werewolf in London is a sacred movie, maybe the best werewolf movie made, is a lot of opinions shared, including one by this reporter, but we will see. I will look forward to this one and definitely keep everybody up to date on its progress. Crank, back to you.
I'm not sure about this. Colonel, what do you got to add on this?
All right, first of all, mighty fine reporting, Zag. You're doing a great job for us out there. Stay warm, okay?
Thanks, Colonel. I'm doing my best, man.
All right, good job. Thank you. So, yes.
You got it, man. You got it.
So, American Werewolf in London. I wouldn't say it may be. It is the best werewolf film ever fucking made. That's not opinion. That is a fact. The transformation scene alone is the best of all fucking time I've ever seen. All practical effects. Robert Kirkman, we know he has chops in horror. I mean, hell, he was one of the inventors of The Walking Dead. Obviously, he's a fan of the genre. But this is a film that doesn't need to be remade. I mean, they brought out a sequel years later from the original with American Werewolf in Paris. That movie is hot fucking garbage. Fucking hot garbage. My God. That's one of the worst ones I've ever fucking seen. They're going to fuck it up by using way too much CGI to save fucking money instead of using amazing practical effects. The chemistry for the cast isn't going to be there. I can tell you right now, they're going to try to draw on a big name, and I think it's just going to fuck it up, kind of like they did with It Chapter 2 with the cast of the adults, because the chemistry just was not there. We discussed that in the past, because they're going to throw a lot of money at this. Hey, we need a big name to try to sell it. Well, you really don't, because most of the best horror movies have no-name actors in them. They haven't done shit before or after those fucking films, and they're fantastic. I'm starting to go on a rant here. I don't want to take everything. Don't fucking make it. It's not needed. Okay, in this climate today, I don't think we're going to have a dream sequence where we have Nazi fucking werewolves shooting up a family while they're watching The Muppet Show. Like, people would be pissed off at that, and it's like, it's a fucking dream sequence. What's the matter? Enjoy the fucking film. Oh, there's Nazis in there. They shot the kid. Who gives a fuck? Watch the movie. Have fun, get scared, and daydream about having a hot English nurse just take you home for no reason. God, she's too fucking trusting.
The thing I like about the original is it was John Landis that directed it. For those of you that don't know John Landis, he also directed Animal House and Spies Like Us, I think. And the fact that he could go from classic 80s comedies and do one of the best horror films of all time also is a testament to his skills as a director. He also directed the Michael Jackson Thriller video, which was based on American Werewolf in London. I like him as a director, and you mentioned that a few years back there was a sequel reboot in the works, but that was being written by Max Landis, John Landis' son. And Max got into some trouble, and that project was scrapped. Now that they're trying to bring it back, I understand that Robert Kirkman is like the hot property now because of The Walking Dead, and they're just trying to get him attached to anything they can possibly throw at him. I don't necessarily want him doing this. I can't think of a director right now I would want remaking American Werewolf in London, just because it is such a good movie. Like Colonel said, don't fuck it up, but you're more than likely going to fuck it up.
This is a movie that is going to be hard to attain the same level of success that the first one had because of that. Everything was great about it. The whole script, the whole turning, the visiting of his dead friend who was murdered as a harbinger of, just things to come.
Yeah, and the level of decay his body's shown as he went through the film.
Yeah.
It's fucking fantastic.
That's Rick Baker probably near his best. Just do it practically. Get a hold of Savini's school and get his students in on it. They're great. Bring the blood. Don't hold back. And make it fucking scary. We'll be there. We're going to be there anyway, but you don't want us on the wrong side of this fence. Believe me.
One thing I will say in defense of American Werewolf in Paris was the soundtrack was pretty good. That's about it. The movie was shit, but the soundtrack was good. And my buddy Jimmy wrote a song for that soundtrack.
Let's not discount the soundtrack from the first one.
No, the soundtrack for the first one was good too.
Perfect fit.
You still doing this?
Yes, I'm still doing this for this moment until we finish this segment. Okay. Back to you.
Well, then let's move on to the next segment. Texas Chainsaw Massacre is reported to be soon attached to Fede Alvarez, former director of Don't Breathe and the Evil Dead remake. Colonel, thoughts?
Now, this reboot, just based on who's attached to it, I have a little bit higher hope for it. Now, I'm not going to lie. I really did like the most recent film of the franchise, Leatherface. It's kind of a cool, like, oh, shocker, like, oh, that's Leatherface? Okay. By far, it wasn't the best of fucking movies, but it was an entertaining story that kept me locked in the whole time. Like I said, I have a little bit higher hopes based who's attached to it. The Evil Dead remake was decent. That's a lot of people's favorite remake. This guy knows what he's doing. He knows what to do with the classic franchise. He's going to make it different enough to bring in a new audience. He can satisfy new and old fans to a franchise. But do we really need another reboot of this franchise? Fuck it, why not? I mean, it's a new Texas Chainsaw movie. I'll go fucking see it.
Yeah, this one's definitely on my radar. I like his other films that I've seen. I think he had an interesting twist on The Evil Dead. I had to go back. I wasn't a fan of it the first time I watched it, but I went back and watched it recently again. And I could see where fans like it. I'm still obviously a fan of the old school Evil Dead, but that's just me. But I didn't mind the remake as much as I thought I did in the past. I honestly think Texas Chainsaw Massacre is due for a redo. Let's take it out of the 70s. Let's bring it into new times. Let's amp up the weirdness of that family and see what happened, but still keep it simple with what Leatherface uses for his victim. I'm interested in this. Ziggy, what do you got? You're still doing this shit, huh?
Yes, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre was a epic first kind of a slasher movie from the 70s. It really made a cornerstone for what was to come. I'm not sure we can bring this into a modern situation with the current state of technology and the way cameras are around and everything. Most cemeteries have closed circuit TV now. I mean, how are you going to grave rob when you're on, you're getting watched in there by the caretaker? It's just not going to work. The first sequel, part 2, I adore. I like it. It's not the best movie, Dennis Hopper. But, I mean, it does a great job bringing back the same characters and, you know what I mean, and kind of modernizing it that way from the 70s, I thought. It felt a little more, we could still get away with this. Maybe you can go into the 80s or early 90s with this storyline, but I've seen it in modern times. I don't think Leatherface can exist in this modern world. That's this reporter's opinion. Crank, back to you.
Thanks, Zach. I disagree with you a little bit there. I mean, not every cemetery has closed-circuit TVs or cameras. Not every cemetery even has an on-site caretaker 24 hours. So the grave robbing, easy peasy. There's still places out in the world where you can get lost and not have some kind of cell signal. So that solution is taken care of, especially in Texas. Do you guys realize how fucking big Texas is? Takes a day, basically, to drive across that motherfucker. You can get lost. You can lose signal. It's not that hard. It's desolate. I mean, there are places in Texas that you can go 40, 50 miles without seeing anything. Not a person, not a gas station, not a farmhouse. I think modernizing it might be the way to go with it. That's just me.
I see your point, because at first I was kind of zagged to explain a little bit. It's hard for me. Most people east of the Mississippi River, higher populations, were more crowded. Everybody's pretty much connected no matter where the fuck you are. And there's not a whole lot of areas where you're not going to get signal or anything like that. Like I said, it's not like you're going out west. You got vast expanses of fucking grassland, mountains where there's fucking nobody. Yeah, you could make it work in the modern times. You kind of switched my opinion on that. So thank you.
There's isolated spots for sure, but I guess I'd have to see it first. I mean, I obviously the team behind it, granted, they had Sam Raimi and Tappert and Campbell behind them, telling them, hey, this is, that looks good. And, gave them some tips and pointers along the way of making the Evil Dead. So not going to have that this time around. Tobe Hooper's not with us anymore. Not that he can't tell a story and give us some visceral fucking violence. The needles in the eyes and the tongue splitting with the blade in Evil Dead are still unforgettable to this day. Mm-hmm. So I have high hopes that the gore will be on point. Like I said, I've just been let down with the Leatherface attempts here the last decade or more, 15 years probably. Yeah, Leatherface was a little bit better than the last of the bunches of them that they've come out with, but not that much. I'm not expecting much out of it, just because, I don't know, I just think Texas Chainsaw is really hard just based on what it is and where it is. That's this reporter's opinion, and we'll leave it at that. Crank, back to you.
Thank you again. Here's my thing. As long as Platinum Dunes and Michael Bay aren't attached to it, I'm a lot more confident in it. I don't want to see Michael Bay anywhere near this.
Well, this reporter would like to see Michael Bay's head on a pike.
Wouldn't we all? All right, let's move on. Nightmare...
Yeah, that's true, Craig, yes.
Thanks. This delay thing is pissing me off. The rights for Nightmare on Elm Street are back in the hands of the Wes Craven estate. His family, his lawyers, I'm not exactly sure who has final say, but it's there now. And they are accepting pitches and ideas on how to reboot or bring back Freddy Krueger. Of course they are. One name that jumped in, threw his hat in the ring on Twitter was Mike Flanagan, the director of Dr. Sleep and Haunting of Hill House on Netflix and so many other things that I'm starting to find out I really enjoy. Mike Flanagan said on Twitter, "Put me in, coach. I've got a pitch." And he's talking about Nightmare on Elm Street. So I've enjoyed everything I've seen Mike Flanagan attached to so far, from Oculus to Dr. Sleep to The Haunting of Hill House. I think he has a good eye for horror. The way he's kind of trending lately, though, he's going more towards this almost too empathetic and supernatural kind of trend. So I'll be honest, but I'm not quite so sure he's the person to reboot Freddy. Colonel, what do you think?
Flanagan, he's a hot name in horror right now. Did an excellent job on Dr. Sleep. Like I said, he blew any expectation for that film I had out the fucking water. So kudos to you, sir. Another one of his movies I really fucking dug was Hush. That was such a cool spin on the slasher genre. So that gives me a little hope for Nightmare on Elm Street if he is awarded the chance to do a reboot. Maybe just take away the whole pedophile thing they kind of lean towards in the later films and give you a reason to kind of feel bad for this guy. I mean, that could be a new take on it, because in the original Nightmare on Elm Street, very bad motherfucker, man. You just didn't want to mess with him. He's an evil son of a bitch. Well, why can't you do that now and kind of give him a little spin? This might be the guy to do it. But at the end of the day, my bigger question is, okay, you might have a good director. You got to have a good fucking Freddy, too.
Mm-hmm.
And that's yet to be seen. So that's where I'm still tangled up on if they do reboot the series. Who the fuck's going to play Freddy?
I think it would have to be somebody new. I mean, personally, I think Robert Englund, even though I know he said he would love to do it one more time, I think he's too old. There's actors out there that could find a way to make Freddy different and terrifying and entertaining. Take, for example, Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise in It. When that was announced, no one thought that anyone was going to come close to Tim Curry's version of It. Or even your own perception of reading It from the book. No one thought that. Bill Skarsgård showed up and fucking blew everybody away with that performance. Ziggy, get in here and talk about this. What do you think? Mike Flanagan, Nightmare on Elm Street. In 3, 2, 1.
Sequels come and sequels go, and Nightmare on Elm Street is no different. It's been rebooted already once. Problem wasn't the cast with that movie. It was more the script. It was just a bad script. This reporter is poised with the question, can this movie be remade at all? Now, I understand the Wes Craven estate has the script again, but as far as this reporter knows, Wes Craven has passed away. So his reach on this is really out. As far as Mike Flanagan getting involved with this, yeah, he's got a great vision, but we, as you boys said, are left with the question, who's going to play Freddy, and can it even be done? A great script can do it, and honestly, Robert Englund has said he has one more left in him. I say you have to let him do it. If this movie's going to have any chance at all, it's the only way. You're going to get the same thing with Jackie Earle Haley. He was not bad as Freddy. He didn't look the greatest. He looked more like a real burn victim. He was still pretty fucking good with delivering the lines, and he was a little more scary. It was closer to the original Nightmare on Elm Street than any of the sequels as far as scary goes. I understand the wit wasn't there, and we didn't want it there. We want scary. But now you're going to do it again with a new casting. Bring in the stuntman and give Freddy the close-ups. Give Englund the close-ups. We seen him in person just last year. He's in fine shape. I believe he could pull this off one more time. Crank, back to you.
They're not making a movie to just do one more movie. And if Robert Englund is introduced as Freddy in this reboot, then he should be Freddy in all the sequels that this reboot spawns, which it will. You know it will. And I do not like the idea of bringing him back for one and then making Freddy look different for another one. Otherwise, you get this.
We'll tear your soul apart.
And do you really want this? No.
This reporter thinks you have a point there, Crank.
Well, gee. Oh, and by the way, Zag, thanks for the breaking news about Wes Craven being dead. Colonel, you had something to say.
It's not even worth saying anymore. This fucking delay? No, I can't work like this. These are not good working conditions.
We're doing the best we can with what we have, with the technology we have. I don't need you guys coming at me and getting on my case when I'm trying to do and report the news in the horror world to all these people.
Look, we all know you're in fucking Michigan, fucking murder mitten. You're way up there. Maybe your connection isn't that great. But fuck, go inside and get on the internet.
He's in Michigan, and he's doing the best he can to keep up with the times and the technology that's at hand. Now, I can't help if there's a little tiny delay in some of the reporting issues here. That's what's going on, and that's what we're dealing with. Crank, back to you.
Okay. Let's move on.
I'm sorry that the things like this keep coming up when we're trying to get this story out and get this segment finished. But this is what it takes sometimes, okay?
Fuck, go in a Waffle House and get on the free Wi-Fi or something, man.
Now, Nightmare on Elm Street is a great movie, and I'd love to see it do another sequel and be great. But as far as I'm concerned, without Robert Englund, it can't happen.
Well, that's one reporter's opinion. We're moving on. Last reboot.
And then the next time they come out with a new movie, it's going to be the same thing. They're going to have a new guy in there, and it's just not going to work. I say scrap the whole thing. That's this reporter's opinion.
I'm about to mute the fuck out of Zag. Pumpkinhead is another movie that's in talks to be reboot recently. I know Colonel wants to talk about this, so take it away, sir.
Yes, I want to talk about Pumpkinhead and a possible reboot. I don't know about you folks, but the first two Pumpkinheads are fucking awesome. Even the shitty sequel, okay? Part 2 was fucking terrible. Terrible. But I still enjoyed it. It was a good, straight to fucking video release. 3 and 4, not so much. Even Doug Bradley couldn't save those fucking hot steam of shit. But here we are. It's 2019. Peter Block, producer for Saw, is attached to this project. Now, he went on to say that he enjoys Pumpkinhead, but it's one of the movies that makes logical sense to reboot, because there's a lot of story to tell there. What I didn't like is they said, you don't have to focus so much on the creature at the beginning of the film. No, sir, you don't understand. The Pumpkinhead movies are all about the creature, okay? That is the myth. He's talking about building up the creature. It sounds like he wants to go back to like the fucking 40s and 50s where they just really didn't have money in the budget to show the creature the whole time. So they just kind of built up to the creature to the end of the film.
Almost like a Jaws kind of thing.
Yes. Yeah. It was like a Jaws kind of thing. Even kind of like the original The Thing, where it was just people opening doors through the whole fucking movie, and you knew eventually one time they opened this fucking door, there's going to be the creature, and sure enough, there it was. Just don't fuck this up, please, because you're right. This movie is right for a fucking reboot. This is one of the ones I can't argue with, because it's not a classic, it's a cult classic. Mm-hmm. You love it or you fucking hate it. Please don't fuck this up for me and say Pumpkinhead for the fucking end. You got a whole universe. You can play with this fucking story. I really don't care. Just don't fuck this up. I don't want to see Pumpkinhead in the last 5 minutes, 10 minutes of the fucking film.
I want to believe when they were talking about, when the producer was talking about, didn't want to spend so much time on the creature in the beginning of the movie. I want to believe he was talking about like the mythology of him. He doesn't want to spell out the mythology of him too much in the beginning of the movie. He wants that to be told over the entire length of the movie. I mean, in the first one, the original, you knew the story of Pumpkinhead completely in like 20 minutes or 15 minutes.
What was wrong with that? If you drag it out, in my opinion, and this reporter's opinion, if you drag it out through the whole film, we're going to end up with literally 10 to 15 minutes of the creature.
We'll have to see, because I don't know what the final product is going to be like. But you are dead right about Pumpkinhead is one that is due for a reboot. It's overdue. I'm surprised it hasn't been done yet. Ziggy, what do you got?
Yes, Crank. Zigzag, as a boy, 15, 14 years old, saw the original Pumpkinhead in theaters. One of Lance Hendrickson's best roles that he's done. It's a great tale of revenge. As far as expanding the mythology of it, I think they could probably maybe expand on the witch that sells him the seed or gives him the seed for the revenge. That was pretty fascinating when finding out what the price is to enact his revenge. If you don't know, his son is killed by some asshole motorcyclists that go out in the country to go raging out in the woods, something we still see a lot of today. The guy's like, he's out in the woods living there to get away from all that, and here his son is killed by their little general store. That's what he does, and yes, he has to get his revenge. And they leave him there, too. The kids leave, and that's part of the justifiable part of the revenge. However, here we are in 2019. Woo boy, it'll be hard to not see this done with full CGI. I hope they don't go that way. I mean, you know how we feel about the CGI. It's hard not to make that shit look. They're not going to have the budget Jurassic Park has. So, I mean, I don't know. I think of that little scene in Creepshow when that thing scampered away in that one episode, you know? Yep. Oh boy. We're hoping for the best here. I mean, Pumpkinhead's a great story. Please give Lance Henriksen a cameo. Anything like that would be great. But, you know, good luck with it. Just, they said it. I'm going to say it. Don't fuck it up. This is kind of a cult classic, as he said, and a bit sacred in many horror fans' worlds and realms. I've been Zigzag. Crank, back to you.
Here's the difficulty that I face with all this. Like, we have different levels of sacred, and we have different opinions all over. Every horror fan has a different idea of what's sacred. So, personally, for me, like, American Werewolf in London, don't touch it, please. Nightmare on Elm Street, I'm iffy. If you're going to do it, it better fucking be done right. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I think it's good for a reboot. Pumpkinhead, I think it's good for a reboot. I'm on both sides of the fence there. So I'm looking forward to news about Pumpkinhead and Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but I'm also going to be paying really good attention to Nightmare on Elm Street and American Werewolf in London. Let's move on from reboot news. We got all that taken out of the way. We got a new trailer for a show called V-Wars, which debuts on Netflix December 5th, today. Check this out.
Did you hear that too? I think there's something downstairs.
Authorities in upstate New York reported a series of attacks called vampire killings.
We need you, Doctor. All the victims have been missing a lot of blood.
Oh my God.
So what do we know so far?
This is a modified virus causing DNA transformations.
I need your help, buddy.
I don't know what I've become. I am your brother. Together we will find a cure for this.
Go.
The man you knew is gone.
My people and I are not terrorists. And as much right to live as anyone else. Horrible as it will be, this war is also necessary. Blood Nation will prevail.
The infection is spreading faster than any of us could have anticipated.
Oh. We're killing this thing.
I'm a doctor. I can help make you better.
I need to feed.
Join in with us. Or die alone.
What happens now?
I need a doctor. I am a doctor.
So that's the trailer for V-Wars coming to Netflix December 5th. It just dropped. Ziggy, what do you think about this?
Yes, the V-Wars is coming to Netflix today. You can get on and get started and binge the whole series right now. I was confused, though, because I thought Ted Bundy was incarcerated and put to death. But here he is, now a doctor and battling vampires, and I am a little bit confused, to say the least. Okay, I'm kidding. It kind of takes the old True Blood formula with the slight racism angle from, you know, when the segregation happened, and it looks like it puts a spin on it where we have vampires discovered all of a sudden, and they bring in a doctor to figure out what this virus is, and he determines, well, this is a complete DNA change. We have vampires saying, okay, F off, you're not going to get rid of us. We have every right to live here just like you do. Bring on the blood war. And looks like we got some kind of vampire versus humans thing happening here. Couple of problems for this reporter that he noticed in the trailer. A, vampires don't go in the daylight. I mean, what the fuck happened to the days when the sun was an actual antagonist to the vampires? You had to get your shit done. You had to get your meal and get back in the casket before 6 a.m. or it's curtains, bitch. No. Now you got fucking running in the daylight. Who the fuck knows? I mean, looks like they're drinking blood at least, but I mean, what are we going to do about, we got any kind of religious connection here? Rosaries, garlic? Any of that shit, stakes through the heart? I mean, come on, man. What are we doing here? So right away, I've got a problem with it. But this reporter will do his due diligence and give it a chance and hopefully find it to be great writing and great storytelling and great acting and goddamn yes, bloody. And V-Wars will be a hit. But to say that we were skeptical would be an understatement. Frank, back to you.
Colonel, your thoughts on V-Wars before we get started?
What can I say that Zag didn't already say in that? Yes, they're running around in the fucking daylight. What are they, a bunch of fucking blades? They fucking half-bloods just running around, have all their strengths and none of their weaknesses? Literally, you wouldn't even know they were fucking vampires minus the drinking blood and the fangs. Gosh, I know you have to modernize these creatures and monsters. Some of them are just classics. A vampire you really don't have to fuck with. Man, I long for the days. Mr. Christopher Lee, one of the best Dracula performances of all time in every fucking Hammer film he's done as Dracula. Man, give me a classic fucking vampire. I don't need a new spin on a classic fucking monster. Fuck off. I'll try to watch your fucking series. That's going to be bullshit. Like, the only positive I could say about this series was at least they didn't fucking sparkle when they was running through the light. So thank you for that. But man, I've never seen a fucking vampire get executed with a fucking pistol. I'm assuming there might be some kind of special ammo, underworld style they put in that. I don't fucking know.
Holy water dip, put a crucifix on the tip. Hey, you know what was modernizing a vampire? Jerry fucking Dandridge in 1986, okay? That's how you do it.
I also am a fan of the classics when it comes to these kind of creatures. Vampires, you've got Dracula. One of the last vampire movies I really enjoyed was Bram Stoker's Dracula with Gary Oldman, directed by Francis Ford Coppola. Thought it was beautiful and brilliant, but it was a classic retelling. I steered clear of all the Twilight bullshit. I will not watch that shit. I will not read that shit.
Those are not horror movies. Those are not horror movies.
No. I want to, at some point, watch True Blood, because I have heard decent things about that, but I want to check that out. This, though, I'm going to try to give a chance. I'm really going to try to give a chance, because let's see what a modern-day take on a vampire is. And it almost seems like they're not traditional vampires in a sense anyway. It seems like there's some kind of virus that's making them vampire-like. The zombie world, a lot of times, is attributed to some kind of virus sometimes. So maybe this is their take on kind of combining those kind of things and creating a new super vampire. One that can survive in daylight. One that doesn't have fears of religious artifacts, or we got to figure out a new way to kill him. Ziggy, it looks like you have something else to say, so I'll wait for 3, 2, 1...
This reporter just hopes that there is some explanation or guidelines giving to this new vampire universe. Otherwise, it's just going to be too much to have to figure out and to get your head around in this new vampire traditional modern world, whatever it's going to be. Let's get it right and make it a nice, brief, easy explanation so we can move on and get to the nitty-gritty of the story. Crank, back to you.
That's what I'm saying. As long as they create their own rules, create their own mythology, and stick to it, I'm game. To me, I see them giving themselves an opportunity to create their own vampire lore with the introduction of a virus or an infection kind of thing, and not necessarily just making it about one vampire biting a human and changing them. It's something that's in the blood, that almost like an AIDS epidemic kind of situation. I guess I'm one of the 3 that's open to it. Colonel, what do you think?
Here's my whole problem, and this kind of goes to the zombie subgenre as well, but mainly for the vampires. We're evolving into vampires, and the vampire population is growing and growing and growing. Unlike zombies, the vampires are wrenching around food and fucking starve. That's why it just never really made sense to me. Like this whole, well, we gotta have every right to live here as you do. No, motherfucker, you think you should be killing off your own fucking people so you guys can fucking survive. Look, we saw an interview with the vampire. Louis really didn't care to drink the fucking rats, but he did it. But a few decades later, he's back to feeding on fucking people because you're not going to survive on that shit. Unless they're going to use it as some way to describe the world we live in now where the human population is fucking exploded and we're running out of fucking resources. I mean, I'll watch it. I just have a problem with the whole colonies of fucking vampires and shit.
Understood. I'm skeptical, but it feels like that I'm a little more interested in this than either of you two. So
I'm just going to set the bar really low for this one. There's no way I'm going to overhype it and give myself a chance to be ultimately disappointed.
But I am going to check it out. It's on Netflix now. December 5th is when it debuted. So check it out, V-Wars. One more trailer for you to watch today. It's Apparition. Check this out.
We have an understanding, don't we? Those boys, they need divine intervention, not a mummy. You have your own job for that. When will you boys learn you can't escape Preston?
I'm sorry.
My wife and I, my youngest Sam, very happy you could join us from near and far to Skylar and Derek and the future.
So, Sam, I haven't seen you in a while. What are you working on now?
It's a thing called Apparition. It allows us to connect the living with the dead.
Oh, what's the worst that could happen?
Are you ready to begin? We are arriving soon.
They claim 7 boys died there mysteriously.
Jesus.
They closed the school down after that.
Why here?
Your connection is upon us.
You see nothing. You hear nothing. You are nothing. You understand?
The connection has been made.
I don't know. Colonel, you want to jump in on this?
So what the fuck?
I don't know.
Like, I understand that, they go back to this boys' school or whatever, and guess dude's dad killed all these fucking kids. But yet, then his son makes an app that you can, locate ghosts, and they go back to the school. And what the fuck?
Well, at least it's not as confusing as the Color Out of Space trailer. Ziggy, any thoughts on Apparition?
This movie looks as if it could be The Skulls meets Ghost Hunters or Ghost Adventures or something like that. A fusion of 2 different storylines. 20 years later, we have 7, 8 dead kids, and we have an app that connects you to the other side. I wonder what kind of regulations would be on that app. What kind of permissions you'd have to give before, you know what I mean?
What's the terms of service?
You will give access to your eternal soul to the realms beyond hell if you, It reminded me of a bit of a movie called Grave Encounters, some of the ghost hunting parts. Interesting, but ultimately doesn't look too much like it's going to be groundbreaking or something where it's going to make me drop my jaw and go, yeah, that was amazing. I like ghost stories, but, this one doesn't look to be one that's going to be memorable.
One of the reviews does say it's an ending you didn't see coming, but they always say that, it seems like.
That doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be good.
Right. Two things intrigue me about Apparition. And I'll tell you what they are. Kevin Pollak and Mina Suvari. That's it. The storyline, yeah, basic, old prep school or rehabilitation school, whatever you want to call it. Bad shit happened there. We jump ahead 20 years to the future, and the ghosts are still there. It's available December 27th. Supposed to be in theaters. I think it's going to be one of those video-on-demand kind of movies. So look for it December 27th. One of my favorite series of the last year was Swamp Thing on DC Universe. We touched on it when it debuted several months ago. It wasn't given much of a chance. It was canceled right after the first episode was released. That storyline was good. Now we've got some details from one of the creators that Swamp Thing Season 2 was going to dive even deeper into the storyline. Season 1 was basically the story of the Swamp Thing itself, and Season 2 was going to go into what else the Swamp had going on. Little side stories, almost like a anthology. Ziggy, what do you think about the thoughts on Season 2 of Swamp Thing, if that would have happened?
Yeah, well, first of all, I did enjoy the first season. I love the fact that it was horror-centric over, like, hero-centric as a comic book. It was pretty fucking dark, man. And when they came out and canceled it after the first episode, I don't know, maybe not everyone tuned in like they thought. They didn't hit the numbers they wanted. Somebody pulled the trigger quick, probably some fucking idiot that's never seen anything cool in his life. We don't harsh our thoughts on what we think of the corporate people that run some of these streaming services. However, now one of the creators comes and tells us, like, yeah, we're going to do Swamp Thing Season 2, and oh, by the way, there's not going to be too much Swamp Thing in Season 2. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Swamp's gonna show you other nefarious things that it and other people it's affected in different ways. I would assume different kinds of creatures or mutations as well, but probably more just influencing, just putting a bad juju out there, a bad vibe on people, that kind of thing. It sounded like I would have liked to see the Swamp Thing continued as the main focus, but obviously, yes, he would still be there, and maybe. I don't know how they were going to do it or tie it together or even tie it to the first one based on what he was saying. It just sounds like nobody was on the same page with this fucking series. It's amazing that they even got a season done, in my opinion here. I don't know. Crank, back to you.
I think they had a lot of story left to tell with the actual Swamp Thing, and I love the way they laid out Season 1 and they told that story. But even at the end of that, I was like, man, I want more of this. I want to see Derek Mears in that goo again. He did such a good job with that role. Colonel, what are your thoughts?
Woulda, coulda, shoulda. In my opinion, what's the matter? I don't care what this guy's telling me. I really don't care. I don't care to listen. The bottom line is, show got canceled. It doesn't really fucking matter what would have happened.
Well, that's Colonel's take. Pretty short, sweet, and to the point. That's why we like Colonel. Now available on PS4, Blair Witch the video game. It's been available on Xbox and Steam. Just now dropped on PS4. It's a single-player survival horror game based on the movie and the mythology there. Ziggy, what do you think of this? Jesus.
20 years ago, in 1999, the Blair Witch hit art house theaters and swept the nation. Now, this was a whole big deal, man. This is when the internet first was busting out. So these guys were smart enough to get out there and do an entire legacy and history of the Blair Witch and victims and everything going back to the 1800s. Amazing. So good that it fooled millions of people with these websites. And people went to the comments, I can't sleep. I need to know if this is real. Where are these kids? Did they ever find them? I was hooked. So I was one of these assholes that went and got a ticket 3 weeks in advance, waited in line, saw Blair Witch in the outhouse, and I loved it. I mean, a lot of people say, fuck the Blair Witch. You can't see nothing. There's no monster, no payoff. Folks, I'm sorry. I have an imagination. If you did not get creeped out by the Blair Witch, you might need to expand your mind a little bit. Maybe try a little bit of the old 420, if you know what I'm saying. Get a little enhanced before you watch it. I'm just saying, okay? Let's fast forward to 2019. We're not even going to talk about those couple of sequels they had, Book of Shadows, and the remake, which is really a long-term 10-year sequel or whatever, 20-year sequel, 19-year sequel, the video game. It's been out for a few months on the PC. It's been on the Xbox. Now we're getting it back on the PS4. Finally. We don't talk about video games too much on the show here, but this one, it's definitely a horror-centric game and deserves its day in court. We're going to get it. It looks like it'd be a single-player game, psychological horror, survival, all the way, point of view. Not too crazy about that. I kind of like that third-person view, but I'm okay with it. We're going to get it and check it out and give it a run, and we can talk about it on here. It's out now. We're just about to start getting into it, so probably by the next show we'll have a definitely good nuts up fucking review on it, and we will see. It's Blair Witch. I think probably you will see a little bit more of the horrors that we didn't see in the movie in this game. It looks plenty scary, and a lot of people saying, not the kind of game you want to play in the dark by yourself where there's any kind of space behind you where someone could walk up on you because you might stab them in the throat. Frank, back to you.
Yeah, they're calling it one of the better survival horror games of the decade and getting it pretty high marks on the rankings. So, Colonel, what do you think?
That shall remain to be seen. Like, so when they first announced this game, I saw PC, Xbox One. I'm a Sony fanboy. I'm never going to play this fucking game, so I'm not too worried about it. It fell off my radar. All right, now they announced it. It's here. I've been watching videos. Looks interesting. Now I know I'm a little bit more of a gamer out of the three of us, so saying it's one of the better survival horror games in the past 10 years, I'll be the judge of that. Because it looks freaky, but I'm not really excited for it, just simply because I'm not a fan of the Blair Witch series. But I'm a little bit on the fence about it, especially people ranking it so high. I'm like, yeah, okay, these are the same people that let Fortnite win Game of the fucking Year, okay? Your opinion means jack shit to me.
Yeah, good point. I'm kind of interested in it. I want to check it out. The only thing I don't like about it is it seems like it's only single player. I'd rather a survival horror game be kind of like Friday the 13th or the Blackout Club where a team can play together. That's a game I'm starting to get into is the Blackout Club, and it's actually pretty freaky sometimes. There are some good scares in that. That's something I think the three of us need to all jump in on sometime and check out, maybe during a live stream and try that out. I think you guys would enjoy it. But Blair Witch is on PS4 now, so if you're into it, go check it out. Blair Witch on PS4 might be a pretty good Christmas gift for your horror fan out there.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah, that leads us into our last topic here. What are you getting for Christmas for a horror fan? We've got some ideas for you. Obviously, T-shirts are always good. While we're talking about T-shirts, you could check out our T-shirts. We got the Death Curse Society logo tee for sale. We also have the Dr. Loomis Death Has Come to Your Little Town. We've got that t-shirt all ready for you. And you can order those for $20, $25 for sizes 2X and up, and we'll ship it anywhere in the continental United States for you. Those make great Christmas gifts, and it's helping us out a little bit. Send your money to paypal.me/zigzagisdcs, and we'll get those out to you. Some more ideas. Colonel, you found some Christmas gift ideas.
We all know horror fans. I love getting horror shit for Christmas. I know these guys do. I mean, I buy the shit year fucking around. I'm addicted to it. What do I like most about horror gifts or even buying horror shit for myself? I don't like the mass-produced things. I like one-of-a-kind, little offshoots. Not something not everybody's going to have. So I did a little shopping on Etsy, some window shopping. Right here we have an American Psycho coffee mug that says, "Don't just stare at it. Drink it." Ooh. Instead of saying don't just stare at it, eat it, and he meant eating ass. Even though I think coffee tastes like ass, so you might be drinking ass as well. I thought it was fucking hilarious. Like I got the link on and I hooked you guys up. We got the price tag on these things and everything, and the Etsy site to go to find out who makes this shit. So now you got an awesome American Psycho coffee mug that's fucking hilarious. If you happen to have a little goth girl in your relationship or guy, it doesn't matter, whatever makes you happy. Here, or Spider and Fly, we have a ceramic coaster set of the Women of Horror. Perfect for that coffee mug, especially if your goth girlfriend doesn't do the dishes and all you have left is coffee mugs and got a little glass of ice water on there and the condensation starts dripping down. It won't ruin your table. It'll land on these coasters. Because let's face it, no one likes cleaning those annoying little rings of water off your table. It's a pain in the ass. As a non-coffee drinker, I hear coffee drinkers complain about this all the time. Man, you drink enough coffee, you gotta shit. You're running to the bathroom. What better than look at is this beautiful creature from the Black Lagoon shower curtain that you can admire the artwork while you're taking a shit. This is how the Colonel works, folks. I have every fucking room in your house covered, and it all strings together. Perfect gift for any horror fan. I'll be honest with you, that shower curtain may be mine after the holiday season. I think it's fucking fantastic.
It's pretty cool. I also like, you mentioned shower curtains. I also like the shower curtain that when it gets wet, it looks like there's blood stains all over it.
Yes.
Have you seen those? Those are pretty slick. You also mentioned coasters. Every time I move, I get a new set of coasters for my house because I'm a coaster fiend. My friends will tell you, even at a bar, if you come near me with a glass and just put it on the bar or the table, I've got an extra coaster for you. I'm going to slide under that motherfucker. I'm a coaster whore. I picked up a series also from Etsy. You can find the masters of horror out there, the slasher icons. They had Freddy, Jason, Hellraiser, and Michael Myers. Can't remember the price of the set. I want to say it was under $40, but it's a pretty good, solid set. I dig it a lot. Ziggy, what do you think on Christmas gifts for the Halloween or the horror fan?
Yes, it's the holidays again, and time to buy for that hard-to-find horror fan. Something for Christmas, another gift. We'll give you some tips here. We got some ideas like, you want to find out your gift recipient, what their favorite horror movie is, find out what they're into, that kind of thing. And then there's numerous ways to go, from T-shirts, as Crank said, coasters, pillows, shower curtains. We've got it all. Socks. You can get it all for your horror fan with their favorite horror property printed on it somehow. Me personally, I'm into the vinyls, the soundtracks. That's another good idea. There's some really beautiful soundtracks getting made now. You can find things like replica things from movies, icon props. We've got hockey mask from Friday the 13th, the final chapter. For the, you can find one-of-a-kind items. You can find scripts. You can find anything on eBay. Check for authenticity on it. They'll have certificates and stuff and ways to verify. But there's a number of ways to go. As far as Zigzag personally, we're going to put a detailed list on the website, and you'll be able to go there and just like a registration list, pick anything you want, and you send it right over to us. We'll make sure we get it. We really appreciate it. What's the matter, guys?
What are you talking about? No, we're not begging for shit.
Well, it's Christmas.
No, we're not begging for shit.
But it's Christmas. Everybody gets presents. How the hell are they going to know what to get us?
Well, it's not about getting. It's about giving, you selfish asshole. So I don't give you the gift of fucking better Wi-Fi with this delay. This is fucking killing me.
Crank, back to you.
All right. Well, and of course, I'm kind of surprised no one even mentioned this, but you can find good deals on Black Friday specials still, probably on movies, DVDs, Blu-rays. I've picked up quite a few in the last couple of weeks. I got The Shining recently, their new 4K release. Pet Sematary new, got that for like $6 the other night, man. I got Pet Sematary old too, but picked up the new Child's Play. And
what does that tell you? That thing's already $6 after 4 months out of being out of theaters.
Well, it was Black Friday.
Mm-hmm.
That's why.
It's going to be $6 on fucking Monday.
Yeah.
It'll be in a $3 bin at Walmart next week.
Yeah, you got that right.
Pick up some movies, guys, old school, reissues, whatever you can find. And Ziggy mentioned prop replicas like the Jason Hawks. A lot of these things like that are one-of-a-kind creations done by just individuals, fans of the movies, fans of the character, and they put a lot of love into these, and you can find them on eBay, Etsy, Amazon.
Granted, I would have warned you guys about the Hawks. You get what you pay for.
For sure.
Do not go the cheap route on these. I'm telling you, a good Hawk is going to cost you at least $100.
You want this, I'll even give them a plug, man. Devil's Latex out of Canada. They do this one. This is the final chapter version. It looks pretty fucking good, man. But this one ran $100, straight up. I mean, look at that, though. I mean, that's it. You're going to get what you pay for. I also real quick want to mention, all the cons and stuff we go to. Vile Consumption, Fantasy Realms. I mean, take a look at the back here. Some of this artwork. Mm-hmm. You can get this stuff. This stuff's like it's very personal and stuff. There's not a lot of prints available of them. These are things that you're not going to get at your Walmart, at your Targets and stuff. You got to go. This is a Vile Consumption here. He does the comic book thing with your favorite movies. It's great, man. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. All you have to do is look.
The Cuddle Cult also is another vendor we met recently.
And she's on Etsy as well. So you're going to love she does fantastic work.
Yes.
Messed Up Puzzles, another guy. He does your favorite horror posters in 500-piece puzzles. Excellent stuff for a Christmas gift.
There's all kinds of places out there. Just look for somebody small, independent. Yeah, try to stay away from the chains if you can on some of this stuff, because we're a small business. We want to support other small businesses. So find something horror for your horror fan, and Merry Christmas to you guys.
Happy Hanukkah.
Happy Kwanzaa.
Well, guys, that's going to wrap it up for Stories Around the Campfire, and we're just going to close out the show real quick. Ziggy, send them out. I said real quick.
This reporter would like to send out a special thanks to Phil Mora by Wondershare for all the editing software and graphics you see that make this show look as quality as it does. So thank you for that, and you can get it yourself, wondershare.filmora.com.
All right, Colonel.
Zach already mentioned the website. We got it, deathcursesociety.com. Stop by there, keep up to date on all the new episodes we have. Speaking of new episodes, if you're watching us right now, you know that we're on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell with all the new content we have coming out. We got a ton of stuff coming out now, and I'm telling you right now, 2020 is lining up to be pretty fucking good. Oh, where else can you find us? Let me think. Oh, that's right, Facebook. Go ahead and like our page, please. Instagram, that's right. Go ahead and follow us, please. And Twitter, go ahead and follow us there on We have you guys covered on almost every major social media platform. Stay up to date with Death Curse Society, because you're one of us.
One more thing before we go. We have to make it official. Hearts of Darkness, fully funded. The film telling the story of the making of Jason Goes to Hell is coming at you from Skeleton Crew and Adam Marcus. Congratulations, guys. We're fucking stoked to be part of this.
Woo! Woo!
What?
I like how all of a sudden his delay just goes away.
Yeah, I know, right? Which one of you assholes gifted him fucking better Wi-Fi?
Talking about anyway. I don't even know what you mean with this delay. You keep saying this the whole damn show, and every time I don't even know what the hell you're talking about.
Our next episode is going to be December 19th. We're going to be reviewing Black Christmas just for you, because none of us really want to see this fucking movie, but we're going to see it for you. For the Colonel and for Zigzag, this is Red Crank saying DCS out, and we'll see you next time.
This has been Zigzag.
What? Come on. Get your shit together, man.
Hey, man, you need to stop knocking off with this delay. I think you're fucking with me, man, because I don't hear any fucking delay, okay?
Yeah, whatever, man, whatever.
I fucking believe these guys. What the hell are they talking about? See you next week.
Dark, twisted, and relevant.
Oh, yes, I saw that. I thought you were going to say if your gospel friend eats ass.
No. No. Fuck. All right.
Glass.